Hello everybody, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Zima Farah and today we're going to talk about had better. First, let's talk about its structure. We use had better plus bare infinitive in positive sentences, and we use had better not plus bare infinitive in negative sentences. For example, you had better study, or you had better study hard, and you had better not eat fast food. You had better not play inside. But maybe you ask, what is a bare infinitive? Uh, we use bare infinitive. It's like without to. Play, for example, not to play. Watch. We don't say to watch for bare infinitives. Or study, not to study. For example, we don't say you had better to study. You'd better to study. No, you had better study. You had better not to play. No, you'd better not play. Inside, for example. But when do we use it? When do we use had better as a structure? We use it in urgent situations when something is getting late. For example, you're missing your flight, you're missing your train, whatever. When something is really important and short of time. For example, you're bleeding, for someone is bleeding, and say you better call for an ambulance. You better call for 911, for example, because you're short of time and it's really important. For example, your friend is bleeding. For good ideas, bad ideas, or suggestions, when you want to suggest and or when you want to say that doing something or sometimes not doing something is a good idea or reversed, it's a bad idea. When the consequence is bad, when you miss your train, if you don't get there in time, it's a bad idea. It's a bad consequence. And so we say you'd better hurry up because otherwise you will miss your train. You won't get there in time. And you know, if you don't know the difference between on time and in time, watch my one of my videos. We talked about in time and on time and other time expressions. And threat or warning. When you say like when someone threatens or warns someone else. For example, you're working on a project, your boss warns you to, for example, uh, do it, for example, before the deadline or something like this. For example, police is, for example, person is waiting in front of your house. For example, you are wanted for murder, and say like this. We will see we will see the examples in the next slides. The construction form. We rarely say you had better. For example, you had better study. We don't say like this. We say you'd better. You'd better study hard. You'd better play outside. You'd better turn off the phone. You'd better sleep like this. You'd better not sleep. You'd better not watch TV online and so on. Using the constructed form is like apostrophe plus D. This means construction form. Is highly recommended unless the speaker wants to emphasize. If you want to emphasize, for example, you remember I said you're a criminal and the police is waiting in front of your house. In this case, they want to emphasize. Say you had better surrender yourself. Otherwise, we'll use deadly weapons, for example. So if you want to emphasize, yes, you can say you had better. But normally we say it's very common to say you'd better instead of you had better. And it's not just for you. Say you'd better, should better, I don't know, hit better, would better, they'd better, I'd better. We say I'd better leave, for example. And in spoken English, saying you better is acceptable. But don't use it in your exams because grammatically it's not correct. We say in written English, we should say, I can say like we had better, we'd better use you had better instead of you better in your exam, for example. But in a spoken English, when you're chatting, when you're talking with your friends, hanging out, yes, you say you better not. And for negative short answers, we can just say better not. For example, can I play inside? Say better not. Means you had better not play inside. You're making it shorter. Better not. And let's make a scenario. Imagine you have an interview tomorrow at 8 p.m. and it's 7 p.m. right now, for example. You're thinking about what you can do tonight. Here are your options. You can watch TV all night or you can go to bed early. You have an interview tomorrow. So you would say It is better that I go to bed early because if I don't go to bed early, I will be tired tomorrow. Instead of this long sentence above, you can just say, I better go to bed early. I better go to bed early. Okay? Let's have some examples. You'd better leave now. It's getting late. Going out without an umbrella? You'd better check the weather forecast first. He'd better, we don't say you all the time. We can use other pronouns. He'd better study hard if he wants to pass the exam. The deadline is tomorrow. So you'd better start working on your project now. The traffic is heavy right now. We'd better leave early to avoid getting stuck, getting stuck in the traffic. This one, you had better surrender yourself. Otherwise, we'll use deadly weapons. Okay? You had better, we are emphasizing here. And maybe you say, why here we have a semicolon, otherwise, and comma, that's the form. That's the grammatical form for otherwise and however. We say we had better, would better use this form. Okay? After your sentence, you had better surrender yourself. You say semicolon, dots and comma, semicolon. You say otherwise without the capital letter, otherwise, then we use comma, then we continue because two sentences are related with each other and we want to use a construct. Otherwise, we give the construct. We'll use deadly weapons. Well, thank you very much for watching this video. Make sure to subscribe. More videos coming soon and see you.